What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 10K on the Bay, my journey to 10,000 live listings. I wanted to just take a second to make a quick video on why you should continue your eBay reselling business. I've been getting a lot of messages from people saying that they're worried about their business. They're worried about slow sales. Hold on one second. Sorry, and I wanted to just do a quick video on hopefully helping you guys stay motivated. And I want to give you 5 reasons why you should continue to do what you're doing and keep building and keep building. So the first reason, and if you guys don't want to listen to this video, I put them in the description so you can just read through them if you have to get back to work. So the first reason is quality always sells, fun always sells, rare always sells, necessities always sell. So what do I sell? I sell necessities and nostalgia. And that's what I'm going to continue to sell for the rest of the time that I'm on eBay, because I like that. And if I were going to do Amazon private label or a different platform like that, I would do the same thing. I would try to sell really high quality stuff, and hopefully it's related to some kind of nostalgia. Like, I'd love to sell high quality stuff that reminds me of the 80s or 90s. That would be awesome. So that's the first reason. Quality always sells, fun always sells, rare always sells. So if you're not selling stuff that's quality, fun, or rare, you probably have slow sales. Those are the things that sell really quickly, fast, year-round. If you're selling clothing, which is a necessity, it might move a little bit slower, but that's because it depends on the seasonality. Make sure you check the growth tab, check your categories, and see what seasonality there is. See where you are in the growth curve or the market curve, and keep going. So the second thing that I want to go over is that it's not only acceptable to wear secondhand stuff now, it's actually cool. So I've been talking to a lot of resellers who have been doing this for a long time. And even though it's much more competitive now, it's probably, there's tons and tons more sellers. The market is also much bigger. So none of the larger sellers that I know are worried about all the extra competition, because where all the products are is where all the people go to shop. So if all of a sudden all the trendy fashion people went on the eBay instead of Poshmark or Etsy, then eBay would start getting some traction on that again. But I have seen really, really low quality listings on eBay for the most part. Like, now that I've increased the quality of my listings, I'm crushing on eBay because the competition is so bad. Most of the people are just listing junk on the floor, not presented properly. And even at really, giveaway prices, people aren't going to buy it because it doesn't look like quality. It doesn't look fun. It's not rare, and it's a necessity, but it's also, you're competing with hundreds of thousands of other necessities. So that's what I'm selling. I think the vintage market is going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's why I think everyone should learn. I'm helping a lady, Shady Vintage. Shout out to her on Instagram. Shady Vintage is very cool. She's teaching me about vintage stuff, and that stuff's never going to go away. You learn how to sell vintage stuff, you're going to be set for life. The third reason is being debt-free and having low overhead is now sexy. It used to not be. It used to be like, how nice is your car? What kind of watch do you have? How big is your house? Those kind of things are way less popular now. It's more like, I don't have any debt and I have a lot of income and I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, with whoever I want. That's like true freedom, in my opinion. That's the purpose behind all this stuff I'm doing. I want to hang out with who I want, do whatever I want, whenever I want. That's true freedom. And that's becoming the real sexiness thing. If you look at all this lifestyle things that people are talking about, it's the same thing. It's just that generally, if you want to have a lifestyle business, you need to provide enough value to the world that will pay for your lifestyle business, whatever it may be. And most of the people who actually have a lifestyle business provide a lot of value to the world, and that's why they're able to finance that. If you're not actually providing a lot of value, you can't do whenever you want, whatever you want, with whoever you want. You just, you may be your own boss, but unless you're providing a lot of value and generating a lot of income, you can't actually have the true lifestyle business. Also, I just want to point out that a lot of people say they can't travel or they can't take vacations. It's because your overhead is too high. If you can reduce your overhead to just the necessities, you can travel right now. And I think that that's really important to realize that, like, I have a heavy emphasis on travel. For me, I like to travel a lot, and it's affordable as long as I don't have a nice car, basically. I've had nice cars before. It greatly hindered my ability to travel. If you're spending $1,000 a month on your car, That's $12,000 a year. You can go to Europe for a really nice trip for 2 to 3 grand. Could have done that 4 times instead of having a nice car, and I would have rather had that. So if I could go back in time, I would have rather have gone to 20 different countries instead of having a nice car. All right, number 4, we live in a shared economy. So not only can you buy quality stuff on eBay, right? You can resell the quality stuff back on eBay for almost the same thing that you paid for it, as long as you take care of it. So I have done this for years. Like, I take care of my old cell phone. This is back in the day when you get a little bit of a credit for signing up for a 2-year contract. I would take care of my phone. At the end of the 2 years, I would sell my phone back on the eBay, get most of my money back, and then use that money to buy the new phone. And for years and years and years, I've had every smartphone since the T-Mobile Sidekick. I don't know if you guys remember back then. Most of my audience is too young to know that. But the T-Mobile Sidekick was this flip-up phone that was amazing. And I've had every phone since then, and I've hardly paid anything. I've had the coolest things you can imagine because I can just sell it right back on eBay and get 90% of my money back. So that is really cool. We live in a shared economy. My girlfriend may never own a car because Uber and all these rental car apps are all so easy for her to use. So we're all sharing the same resources. If you own a car and you only drive it 1 hour a day, you're still paying for the other 23 hours of the day, right? So I think that's important to realize. We live in a shared economy. As long as you're okay with sharing with other people, then you can have other people pay for your car. I would say I own 3 cars. All 3 of the cars pay me money. Instead of a car costing me money, all 3 of those has become 3 different kinds of sources of income rather than things that go out of my pocket. So imagine that if you go to like luxury San Francisco car rentals, you'll see, I'm not sure if the kid he's around 30 years old, I believe. He has 20 or 30 supercars, right? Like a Ferrari 430, all those supercars. And the business is a luxury car rental business. And it's just so he can have all those cars. I don't think that business makes any money, but because the insurance costs are pretty pricey. But you could rent an Aventador or something for $1,800 a day. And if you want to be a fancy YouTube blogger, you could rent one and pretend like you own it, right? All that is available to anybody, but I don't really care. If you pay the $1,800, you actually are driving that Aventador. You don't own it. If you're pretending like you own it, you're kind of a poser. But if you just wanted to drive one, that's a lot cheaper than the 500 grand it costs to drive that car, and the $20,000 a year it costs just to take care of that freaking car. Like my biggest flip price-wise was the Lexus LFA. I sold the Lexus LFA for $419,000. It was a $69,000 profit deal for the dealership that I worked at. And it costs in a neighborhood of $35,000 a year to take care of that car. Like it's a pain in the ass. Trying to own a supercar, it's like an oil change is $2,000, brakes are like $6,000, and they need to be replaced, not like normal cars. Like on like the Maserati that he was going to trade in, the Quadriporte, you have to replace the clutch after every 4,000 miles. Can you imagine like how insanely expensive that is to have to replace your clutch every 4,000 miles? I mean, that's, I don't know, no less than 10 grand. If you were to drive that as a daily driver, that would be multiple times a year. So that's not as sexy anymore. Like if you actually think about what you think a millionaire lifestyle is, which is like, an exotic car, a 5,000 square foot house, you have to be an NFL or NBA player to afford that. And once your pay stops and your career is over, you still have to pay for it. Just the maintenance cost is insane. So anyway, we live in a shared economy. I think eBay is really, really stable. It's different than Amazon. But if you do Amazon, you sell quality stuff, it's the same exact thing because the same thing applies. So number 5, the reason why I think everyone should work on eBay is because it gives you the freedom to work on other projects. And what I mean by that is, I think on the low end, eBay makes you $28 an hour. This is if you sell stuff from the Goodwill outlet or stuff from Thrift or whatever, and you get it, you take it home, you list it, you know what you're doing, you're gonna make $28 an hour. And the way I figured this out is more like, you're gonna make $5 to $10 an item, and you can do 5 to 10 items an hour. Now this is just very conservative, right? And that's why I put $28 to $1,000 an hour, because there's people who have employees and a warehouse and buildings and suppliers, and they're making $1,000 an hour, right? Because they have all these different things, and what they're doing is just clicking a button and ordering stuff for them to sell. Then that's a totally different operation. It requires capital, resources. You have to be, you know, really good with your everything to make that work. But you have unlimited income potential, right? I know people who make $1,000 an hour. I've talked about them on my show. I mean, it's infinite how big you can get. And I also know people who only make $5 an hour because they don't calculate all the time they put into it. The hours that you're on Instagram and YouTube researching, all that counts towards your hourly. Make sure that you properly assess all of that. That's why I no longer have time to really watch other YouTubers. Occasionally when I'm listing, but not really. Okay, and because eBay runs 24 hours a day, you can work on it any of the 24 hours of the day. So you sleep, you can work on eBay whenever you want, right? And then the rest of the day, you have time to work on other things. I think that that's really, really key. You don't have to work on it 9 to 5. I think the most successful people do that. They actually do that. So Kevin is I'm going to go into some Q&A real quick before I get back to work. But Kevin is saying, I'm not including the time it is to ship and go to the post office. I am including that, bro. So like, I think it's 28 bucks an hour. 5 to 10 items an hour includes everything. I'm talking shipping, listing, prepping, going to the thrift store, all that's time that you're on YouTube. I think if you're making less than 28 bucks an hour, you should not do eBay. It's not worth it. It's not worth eBay to do all that stuff I just talked about for less than 28 bucks an hour. Just go get a regular job and you don't have to deal with all this returns and there's so much involved with eBay. Make some decent money if you're gonna do it. Like, don't do eBay just to break even. Try to make some cash. Yeah, what's up, Clearance Ninja? There's my shout out for the video. Yeah, I do some shout outs. I just don't do it for the first 10 minutes of the video. Let's see. So we got reseller Zealot saying, stop saying share. You are not sharing, you are reselling. I mean, you can look at it however you want to do it. I think when you find something that's in somebody's garage and it's worth 0, right? Because it's not worth anything in somebody's house, and you buy it from them in a garage sale and you put it on under the internet and somebody buys it, I consider that sharing. So I don't know how you look at it, but I think that's, to me, that's really clearly sharing because it's not going to be worth anything there. So being an entrepreneur is literally taking something from a lower value and bringing it to a higher value. That is the French definition of the word. So like, it's worth nothing in someone's garage in a box. It's worth $1 million to some prince in Brunei, right? You don't know. So like, that's the definition of an entrepreneur, finding that. So our book's a good thing to sell. Everything is good to sell as long as there's somebody that will pay a higher value than the value that you purchase it from. Let's see, what other troll comments can we take a look at this morning? Levon, what's going on? She's saying that her listings may not be moving because of the quality. I mean, there's always room for improvement. Don't be down on yourself. Also, again, check the growth tab on eBay. So if you don't have an eBay store, you need to get one if you want to take eBay seriously. Go into it, click the growth tab, look at your category. Is it doing well right now? Is it not? Take a look. The Macadias, you guys drive a 2006 Impala, you're gonna drive it till it breaks or explodes. That's awesome. See, like, I wanna say, I'm not trying to say you don't need to have nice things. I'm just saying you should buy quality things. In a 2006 Impala, I don't know much about Impalas. I know the old ones are pretty high quality because they still go for crazy money right now. But I just think if you're buying quality, then it never really depreciates that much. As an example, if you're gonna buy a Porsche 911, I actually think this is the best used car to buy, period. If you're gonna buy a Porsche 911, right, and you buy, let's say you buy it for $30,000, and you're gonna drive it for 2-3 years, you're probably gonna be able to sell it for 22 to 25 grand. That's like probably cheaper than a 2006 Impala as far as depreciation. Doesn't depreciate much, right? You're only paying, you know, a little bit for it. Depends on how much you drive it, but they don't depreciate very much because you're buying a quality car. If you guys don't know, Porsches after the year 2000, Toyota went in there and made them not suck. So like if you buy a newer version Porsche, they're very reliable. So just something to consider. Am I gonna do another reseller critique every Friday now. So on Friday, I'm going to do it with Picking for Profit. Should be pretty fun. Today, I also have a storage show with Wade's Ventures later today. So if you guys want to check that out. How do I stay motivated when sales are slow? I just keep listing, because for me, it's just about having a certain amount of stuff in the store. And then I look at it as an annual basis. As long as it's quality, eventually it will sell. I'm only worried about having stuff in my store that's bad. Like, as an example, Patagonia is a really good brand, right? If I had an entire store full of Patagonia listed at market value or slightly less, I would not be worried. But if I had an entire store full of, let's say, J. Crew, it's like a medium brand, I would be a little bit worried, because the demand's not really high, the market's not doing really well. J. Crew is not a premium enough of a brand to sell quickly. Clearance Ninja, I do have a P.O. box address. You can either email me, or I think it's on my About on my channel if you want to send me something. I should do some unboxing. I have a couple of things that people have sent me, usually all Pokemon related. Thank you very much for that, guys. If you do want your store critique, just email me. I'll do it with Picking for Profit on Friday. How do I manage vacations? I was doing vacation mode. This year, I've only been on 3 or 4 vacations, so I just extended my handling time. I didn't even do vacation mode, but in the future, I will be shutting my store down completely, so I can take a break. Like, shout out to Bethany, Just Thrifted on Instagram. She turns her store off. I think that's the way to do it. Let's see. Yeah, that's a great point, Diane. As far as ROI, there's not really a better investment vehicle than eBay. I agree, because like, if you talk about on YouTube that you're doubling your money, there's like, people are like, oh my God, I would never buy something if I could only double my money. I need to make 100 times my money or I won't even pick it up. Like, the stock market, if you're a pro, yields 8%, right? And there's people who say that 100% ROI in a month is too slow for them. So I should be reason number one, Diane. That's a great point. The ROI is unbelievable. Let's see. You won't buy a new car again. I probably won't buy a new car again. Like, as an example, I would rather buy a 5 or 8-year-old Porsche than a brand new Toyota Camry. They're like the same cost. So I mean, it just depends on what you like. Paul, I'm gonna shout Paul in the chat. He's been really active in my comments. He's really cool, and he showed me that you can make listings private on All Good Till Canceled, and I'm gonna do that, because that way people really have no idea what's going on in my business. I'll share as much as I want to on YouTube, but that's a really good way to keep people from selling the stuff that you're selling that sells really well. It takes a lot of time to figure out what's going on, so just get in there. Clearing Clutter for Clarity also has a Lexus. That's bomb. I have one too, but it's because my mom didn't want it anymore. I probably wouldn't buy a Lexus right now again, unless it was an ISF. I really like that car. I probably will buy it again in the future sometime. Let's see. You sold 5 things and you have your daughter ship them for you. God bless you. Figuring out the child labor. I don't know how old your daughter is. Hopefully above 6 years old, so she can reach the tape gun. But I think it would be cool if I had a store, like my girlfriend's cousin has just like this. She has her own show where she talks about bugs. She's like 7 years old, and she has a YouTube following of other girls that are like 7 or 8 that talk about bugs. Like, that is the most cool thing ever. I wish that was available when I was a kid. Like, you could have your own online friend base talking about stuff. Diane bought some stuff for $1 and sold for 120 to 500. I paid 50 cents for the Apple shoes. Hold on. I also have to go to I'm going to a safe deposit box today to put the Apple shoes in them. I paid 50 cents for them, and they're like $11,000 now. So like, can't beat the ROI on 50 cents to 11,000. Let's see, 1994 Suburban. That's boss. What else do we have going on? Oh, that's true. If you have, my parents have a 1994 Suburban, and it costs $85. Cost $90 to fill it up. Does that sound right? Um, I'm not sure. But yeah, let me know. It's expensive to fill up. I think it's a 40-gallon tank. Holy shit, that's a lot. It's $160 to fill up. Um, ETC. Valerie, what's up? You say that you're not making $28 an hour yet. Well, just, I don't think you should compare yourself to others, but I want to help you try to get to that point because I think this is why. I think you deserve at least $28 an hour. That's why I think that, I'm not saying you have to, I'm just saying you deserve it because it's hard. Selling on eBay is not that, it's simple, but not easy, if that makes sense. So like, I think you should do that. What's a good margin? New attack jeans depends on the brand. Let's see here. Kareem was asking cream t-shirts at Kmart. I have not. I probably should do a certain percentage of my portfolio as hype beast stuff. I'm not super into the hype game anymore, but Supreme is a genius, and they are the kings of hype. Can you imagine you collaborate with Kmart and Louis Vuitton in the same year? How gangster you have to be able to pull that off. It's amazing. Reseller Zealots, what are my ASP goals? He or she is trying to stay above 70. My average selling price goal is $30 on the 10,000 items. So on my medium store, it's like 40 something dollars right now, but I want it to be 30. So it's above where I need to be. And then the little store, my Bulba store that I'm going to start pretty soon, I think maybe I'll shoot for a higher ASP because that store will only have 250 items in it. How do I feel about low margin filler items that sell when things are slow? I don't know any large sellers who have an ASP over $40. So, and by large, I mean over 5,000 listings. So actually that's not even large, medium size. If you have over 5,000 listings, I consider you medium. Under 5,000, you're still small. Because like, even in the United States, if you don't have 15 employees, you're not even really a small business. You're a micro business. So like 15 employees is a gigantic eBay store. I mean, if you had 15 employees, you probably have 30,000, I don't know, depends on your stuff. Reseller Zealot is modeling Craigslist Hunter. Awesome. That's a great person to model. I tried it. I don't have the space to do it. I can't model Craigslist Hunter. I don't have the space to do. I tried it. Like, and it's not like I have an over $100 ASP on the stuff that I bought from Craigslist Hunter's channel. The record player I bought for 28 and sold for 528. All the VCRs, vintage electronics, everything sold for over 100. It just actually less money. And I make less money doing Craigslist Hunter's model than I do right now because of speed. It's not fast to sell a Marantz record player. It took like 15 hours for me to sell that because I don't have the experience, right? I had to take it, I had to research it, I had to learn how to use a record player, right? I had to take it out, I had to YouTube how to clean it, cleaned it, I had to go on the Yelp and find somebody who knows how to repair turntables. I went there. It's like not that straightforward. If you're a Craigslist hunter and you've been selling vintage electronics for 20 years and you're a boss and you have all the equipment in your freaking shop, then go for it. But I just don't have all that stuff for that. Levi's. What's a good margin for Levi's? I think it depends on which model of Levi's. So I would say the correct price is $1 less than the market, since Levi's are a pretty common item. So whatever they're selling for on eBay, $1 less is probably a good price. Veronica's in Canada. Yeah, the shipping up there is tough. It's challenging. I know Canadian Post. I haven't done a Canadian reseller show, so if you guys want to email me, we'll put one together. I did an Australia one that was way less popular than I thought, but maybe the Canadian one will be more popular. What do I think about customer returns? I don't mind them as long as they return them within 7 days. It's only annoying if they don't. It's only annoying if people take a long time to return things. And it's not even really that annoying, but it's more annoying. Let's see. And it also reseller Zell. If you look at Craigslist Hunter, he only has a few hundred items in his store. He has 400 or 500 items, and he has staff. So imagine having staff and you have 400 or 500 items in your store. And of course, he's done like, I think 70, he might have done 100 grand before in a month. It's just a different operation. I think I can get to 100 grand a month in my garage. I can't get to 100 grand a month in my garage using per month using Craigslist Hunter's model because I don't have the space. Let's see. Wow, there's a lot of questions. Thanks, guys. If you want to hit the like button, that would be super helpful. Thank you. Would I ever want to sell random things around the house? I did. All the stuff that's not freaking connected to the wall I have sold. So all that junk sold. That's how I funded the Low Key Husky store. Yesterday, somebody was trolling me like $19,000 is not a lot for that store. That store is like 4 months old, and I started with 200 bucks. Like, I don't know. That's amazing to me. I'm even amazed by that because how is that even possible to just sell junk around your house and start with 200 bucks? Like, I mean, not everybody has that, but that's amazing. So like, I don't know what the standards are for having an amazing store that's brand new. That store just started with you guys on YouTube a few months ago. Let's see. Paul bought an ultrasound machine for 120. He might be able to sell it for 10 times the amount. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. Here's the thing. It's fun to sell stuff that's really expensive, and I'm going to do that. I'm just saying it's not my business model. Okay, like I'm not saying it's not worth it. It might be worth it. The record player was still worth it. I made $500 profit on, I mean, $400 profit on one item. That's still worth it. But it's like, you know, I don't know. I'm not going to stop going to garage sales. I'm just saying that it's not my main business model. Let's see. Valerie, you're welcome. Where did I find the Apple shoes? Goodwill, baby. Even though Goodwill is my least favorite thrift store, like no doubt it is the most expensive. They just raised it. It was, even in my earlier videos, I think they heard me. I said it was only $2 for a t-shirt because now it's $3 to $4 a t-shirt. So they doubled the price. So maybe it's because of YouTubers. I don't know. Maybe I'm ruining the market for everybody, but I don't think so. Is there still new tags items out there to create a $10,000 a month from it? Dude, there's enough new tag stuff out there to create $1 million a month business. Like Hustlebee on Instagram, the Hustlebee, that dude is at 20,000 already a month doing retail arbitrage. Just Ross, Marshalls, and the third store that he goes to that he shares on his channel. You'll have to follow him to find out. The Hustlebee, he's very transparent. If you guys want to do RA at Ross, Marshalls, or Burlington Coat Factory, go to the Hustlebee. That's not my favorite thing to do. So let's see. News Pews, that's a good name. You sell electronics. You don't have the time to test properly. You spend 25 to 50 each item. See, I would maybe be okay with that, right? Instead of spending $10 fixing it and selling it for 100, buying it for 25 to 50 already done and selling it for 100, that's okay. I mean, I don't like returns. And so usually I'm just gonna let the person keep the item. Usually, it depends on how much it is, but on electronic, you can't really have them keep it if you spent 50 bucks on it. Do I ever shop Nordstrom Rack, clear the rack sale? That was my biggest flip of the year last year. I spent 6,000 and flipped to 20,000 from Nordstrom Rack. So all boots. The more professional the look, the more you can ask. True, but I will tell you, I don't think the more professional the look, the faster you sell it. That's my opinion. I do not think that having a better presentation makes you sell things faster, because I see a lot of people who do not give a shit, excuse my language, about presentation. It's not a beauty contest. It's about having the good stuff, right? If you had anything Supreme, you don't have to do that much work into the presentation. As long as it's acceptable, you will sell it. Have I ordered from bulk? I haven't yet, but I will order from govdeals.com, which is the USPS version of bulk.com. So that's GOV, Goblin, Orange, Vacation, Deals. Is it GovDeals? GovDeals.com. I believe that's the site. Can I recommend a mannequin brand? I can't recommend a mannequin because I don't like them. just can't do it. I like flat lay and I like the hanger. So I know mannequins are great. I just personally do not like them. So I'm not going to recommend stuff I don't like. Let's see. Yeah, Nordstrom Rack. It's just to clear the rack sale is what's up. So like, I haven't been able to find a lot of stuff there to resell. However, I do recommend everybody who's selling clothing spend an entire day at Nordstrom Rack, look at every single item, write down all the prices so you can get an idea. Then go to Nordstrom the next day, spend the whole day there, write down the prices so you can get an idea of what's made exclusively for Nordstrom Rack, what's made exclusively for Nordstrom, what kind of brands, what is it asking for retail, what is it asking for clearance. Then when you go thrifting, you can to be worth new, clearance, pre-owned. Wow, Filson. I still haven't found any Filson out here. All right, guys, I gotta go. Got work to do. Again, get off of YouTube and go make some money. See you guys. Have a great one. Hit the like button on your way out.